Hey there, welcome back to Project Syntar. In the last episode we discussed the reefs of Orelios. They were very diverse and specialized. In today's episode we're going to discuss the Algero forests of Orelios' shallows. They are analogous to earth kelp forests, so could be very similar. Pause. Sorry for the side note, I wasn't very happy with the old tectonic plate movement as I came up with them in a few seconds and they were rushed. Instead I have made a new tectonic plate model to use. Here it is now. To prevent me having to remake lots of the artwork, I have made it so this frame of the old animation is similar to this frame of the new animation. I hope you don't mind the change in tectonic activity. Unpause. Some of the first kelp forest inhabitants would be creatures like the Simonosarian that enter the forests for protection. Some could adapt to live mainly in and around them. They would grow longer fins to look like leaves to camouflage, and they could develop a striped coloration to further camouflage. They would be larger than their open ocean-dwelling cousins by a little bit and would be the primary filter feeders of the forests. They will be called the tiger simian. Another filter feeder could descend from the Merivermis called the Algera mimica, meaning kelp copy. It lives in a similar way to seahorses on Earth. It wraps its long tail around the stems of Algero as to not blow away in the current and to anchor itself in place. It then spreads out its 12 limbs to its side and presses them together so its shape looks like a leaf. It does this to seem like a piece of kelp so any carnivores will not want to eat it. Its three eyes have surrounded the head, giving it 360-degree vision, and its mouth has become like a vacuum/hoover since to suck in plankton and marine snow from the water. The forests will also be home to many herbivores, one of which is the phytomorph, meaning plant form. They are descended from an omnivorous species of Estracolephos that have taken a primarily plant-based diet. They use their spikes to attach themselves to kelp and nibble at the leaves and soft parts of the stem. A notable adaptation is a leaf-shaped flat body that sways in the current much like one of the kelp leaves. This form of mimicry is defensive mimicry as it acts like something a predator would have no interest in. Another herbivore is the Spirotesta. These clamoscrap descendants have to have a long digestive tract to digest the tough plant matter that their diet consists partially of. They have curled their long bodies into a spiral inside their shell, giving them an appearance similar to the extinct ammonites of Earth. The only body parts stuck outside the shell are the two limbs used for propulsion when swimming and the singular eye stalk to swivel around. Even then all three can be retracted into the shell for defense. Their diet consists of around 60% plant matter and the rest is marine snow. They travel around in basic groups for safety. Some Simonosarian may adapt for a herbivorous niche, becoming the largest herbivore on the planet yet, becoming the Titanopissus. They could repurpose their bottom to feeding parts for gripping and ripping chunks of plant matter. With its bottom to tentacles doing the work, its top to could shrink as to reduce drag with swimming. They are very large, about 8 meters at biggest in length, meaning they rival some species of Antigrophilones. They are a very unique species that resides in the kelp forests. They need so much food that sometimes the trek from kelp forest to kelp forest is too dangerous, so only the juveniles do this. It also helps them to not compete with their parents. To reach such impressive sizes, they would also need to develop bone or some other way to support their structure. They would converge on a similar bone structure to the Antigrophilones. Again, another herbivore could descend from the Cyclopissus and repurpose its crushing bite force for breaking open the hard stems or fibrous gas bags of the Algero, becoming the Cyclopsotesta. They have a more streamlined body and are smaller to better fit into the tightly spaced forests. Their shell now serves as protection, as well as their ancestral function of structural support so it can successfully survive an attack or two from a predator. What kind of predators, you may ask? Well, there are 3 carnivores that inhabit the kelp forests of Orelios. One of these being the Duodenopod, This Maramavermis descendant has evolved to use its tight flexible body to squeeze into the burrows of the bilotworm that are found in the Algaro forests of Orelios. They have hardened their mandibles into skewer-like appendages to stab the bileworms with. They also substitute their diet with the fish-like eggs of the bilotworm. These hunters live solitary lives and only interact when mating. Once the female gets pregnant, it will dig its own burrow and lay its eggs inside. It will then put pieces of flesh or bone into the burrows and abandon it. The flesh and bone is for some guaranteed food once the babies hatch. Some Corjutulum could leave their too brief home and move to the Algaro forests, becoming the Brachyastema. It uses its mandibles to grab onto the seabed, almost like an arm. It places its fins out like leaves and waits for unsuspecting victims to come close enough to then kill the prey. Since its mandibles have been adapted so much for gripping onto rocks, they now kill by wrapping around their prey and squeezing them until they die. The fake gas bag does not produce any actual gas, it's only to aid in the mimicry. They have gained a bit of muscle around the eyes to push skin over them so the eyes can't be seen by its desired prey as they are a giveaway. Instead, they rely on a clump of chemoreceptive cells at the tip of each fin to sense prey as they can't see with their new eyelids. The final carnivore, as well as the final creature for today's episode, is the Rexalgarum. Meaning king of the kelp, it's the apex predator of its environment, much like its ancestor the Echinotherium. It has become smaller and more thin to better fit in the forests and has red, orange, and yellow colors to blend in with the plants of the forest. Its jaws aligned with teeth that are lines backwards to make it so prey only has one way to go once bitten, further into the mouth. These differ from its predecessor as the Echinotherium has more sharp pointy teeth better equipped to eating prey alive. Also, the Echinotherium's shorter mouth aids in this. The Rexalgarum can afford to have a longer mouth as it doesn't use that killing method anymore. These beasts never leave the cover of the forest since without it they would be easily spotted by their larger cousins. The younger ones are more sandy colored, so they are more likely to survive a travel from forest to forest and spread far away. The Algaro forests of Orelios are vibrant and bountiful. Take today's episode as a brief overview on Orelios' Algaro forests. Thank you for all the people who have contributed fan art for the episode. I appreciate it a lot and it makes the episode look way better, so thank you guys a lot. There will be a fan art montage at the end of the vid. If you would like to make fan art, see some sneak peeks of the next episode, generally chat or much more, you can join the Discord server in the description of the video. The next episode will be full of scary, odd, unique, and overall alien creatures since we will be covering the deep trenches of Orelio's oceans. With no light, low oxygen, high pressure, and little food, how will these creatures survive? Watch next episode to find out. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Thank you and goodbye for now.